Hello, how are you? I'm Kayla. Today is Monday, January 27th, 2025, and I am going to be giving a little knitting update and also a review of all my WIPs, which are pretty old, some of them. I just want to go over them and, talk about what I've been doing and knitting. So I hope you're well. Welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you've been here before. I guess I'll start with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my giant, humongous Harlow sweater V-neck by Kadri, which I knit in the size large, probably off gauge, potentially off gauge. I've never measured it. And this is with yarn that I thrifted. It's Lion Brand Wool Ease in the color Rose Heather. I did have to buy one new skein to finish the sleeve though, unfortunately, but that's okay. Okay, so I've been busy knitting away. Although this past week I've been a little bit not doing as much knitting because I tweaked my wrist when I was putting together a piece of furniture, which kind of irritated an old injury. So I've been like knitting here and there, did a little crocheting, but not much. I had to take it easy. But I did in the past couple of weeks finish a project. So I have a finished object for you guys to share with you guys. Okay, let's see if I can lean back and show you. This is the Darling cardigan by Kudavakika or Veronica Lindberg. I knit this in Drops Air in the color Rose Petal, which I believe is number 52. I think this pattern is actually supposed to be a bulky weight pattern, and I knit this. This is like more like an air and weight yarn. And I started this in mid-October and finished it, like I said, a week or two ago. So a little after, about mid-January. Of course, with distractions and knitting other things and so on and so forth in between. So if I had just focused on this, it would have been a lot quicker. Very simple drop shoulder construction. So you start in the back, and then move on to the front. Sorry, it's a little rumpled. It's been folded in my drawer since I finished blocking it, since it dried. Move on to the front, then join, and then knit back and forth until you finish the body. I knit the size medium, and classic me last year, I did not gauge swatch, even though I totally should have, knowing this is a bulky weight pattern and I was using an air and weight yarn. So I'm off gauge by some. I believe it's supposed to be a 16 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters, and I'm at like 17 and a half stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. If I had gauge swatched and known that ahead of time, I probably would have gone up a size, but because I was flying by the seat of my pants and just did what I did, I don't have as much ease as I would prefer. But again, I went in blindly, but also knowing that I was going in blindly. That was my fault. It was one of those things. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. I still like it. It still fits. It buttons without puckering and everything. So that's good. I did the double knit button band, which took forever, but is really worth the time and effort that it takes. And I had never done one of those before, actually. It wasn't hard at all. It just was time consuming. And I am loving the buttons that I used. These are vintage glass buttons. Well, I believe they're vintage anyway. I haven't seen any being sold in stores new, but that I bought from New Jersey Sheep and Fiber Festival this past September, knowing that I was going to be knitting this project. So I love them. They're really, really pretty, and it's exactly the type of button I had in mind. So that's nice when that works out, when you're able to find what's in your head. Yeah, I really like it. This yarn's super, super soft, lovely. I will work with it again. Although the one thing I noticed is that like when my hands are dry, this extra dries out my skin, my hands. So I was slower knitting this because of that, actually, because my hands tend to get really dry in the fall and winter time. And so I was like feeling that, I don't know, that extra dry feeling in my hands while working with this yarn. Just a consideration, I guess, but it's really nice. And even though the fit isn't what I exactly would want, again, my own fault knowing that, but I still like it. I'm still happy. I would consider it a success. But don't be like me and gauge swatch. Yeah, that's my finished object. Now I just have a few WIPs that I've been actively working on, a couple actually, and then I will move on to my more lingering WIPs and my plans for taking care of those. Okay, my first WIP that I started the toe on last night, yay! So it's almost a half finished object, is this sock. I'm putting my other double pointed needle on this table here. This sock for my husband. If you saw my Everything I Knit in 2024 video, I made him his first pair of hand knit socks and gave them to him for Christmas. And then, you know, he really likes them, which I'm just tickled to death about. So I was like, all right, I'll knit you more. And we went to a local yarn store together on a little day date. And I had him pick out a sock yarn that he liked. So let's see. This is Adriare. Please forgive my pronunciation. The price tag's right there, kind of covering the name. Kalza socks. It's 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide, in the color 175. It doesn't have a name on the label. But again, we got this from the local yarn store. Oh, here's the other part of the label. Which is Slip Stitch Avenue in Bordentown. And yeah, this is how they're turning out so far. Obviously, you have to knit a lot longer of a foot for, well, I have to knit a lot longer of a foot for him than for me. I did 72 stitches. I did 3 by 1 rib all down the leg and across the top of the foot. Heel flat, slip stitch heel, and you know, heel flap and gusset construction. That's my favorite. And yeah, now I'm just on the toe decreases. So I'm almost done the first one, almost a half finished object. I would like to get these socks finished by the end of February. So that's actually pretty generous. If I work on them pretty regularly, I think that I can easily complete that. I can't even remember if they're on my list here. No, they're not. I made myself a little list of my old WIPs. This isn't even on it. It's sometime started in January. So I think I can easily complete that. Finish both socks by the end of February so that I can move on to my socks that I want to make for myself. I mean, I could start them now, but I think I get to a point where if I have too many WIPs, it's just, I feel overwhelmed, especially with knitting. Cross stitch is a little different. I have about 1 million cross stitch WIPs, which I have to get back to. But knitting, it overwhelms me a lot more to have more than one. Plus they take up a lot of space. So yeah, socks. And well, the first one's almost done, so that's good. My second active WIP, which I barely touched this week because of my wrist, I found that this was irritating my wrist more so than the socks. In this awesome bag, by the way, which is also from the local yarn store, Della Q. It's like a waxed canvas maker's tote or something. This is my weekend slipover V-neck by Petite Knit that I started pretty recently, like the day before my last video, a couple weeks ago then. This is using, again, thrifted yarn. This was thrifted, this is thrifted. Yeah, this is Reynolds Icelandic Tweed. So this is a vintage Icelandic wool yarn in the color 306. And it's a bulky weight yarn. And let's see if I can show you this without losing any stitches. Okay, sorry. I'm using size 8, US 8 needles. which I said the millimeters wrong last time. Let me, 5mm needles for the main body, this one. It calls for 5.5mm in the pattern, but I was way off gauge. I'm still a little off gauge now, but not too bad. Okay. So here it is. It doesn't look very pretty yet, but as you can see, I am joined in the round and working my way down the body. I think I have about 6 or 7 inches, probably 6 inches left to go before I start the ribbing, which shouldn't take too long. And then I have to do, or the body ribbing, and then I have to pick up and do the neckline and armhole opening ribbing. Yeah, I really like how this colorway is turning out. It looks really nice. I'm not sure, this looks really big when I hold it up, but I'm also used to knitting things a little bit smaller than I actually like, or in the case of this, too big. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out fit this year. I also don't know how I'm gonna like wearing slipovers, but my idea is to wear this with like a long sleeve underneath, like a black long sleeve. I've got a plain black crew neck long sleeve shirt, or even a gray one, with some black jeans. Maybe that would be cute. I don't know. We're gonna try it. So yeah, that's my other, actually I have a third active WIP, which brings me into my old WIPs, but that's my other main one right now. I would also like to finish this. Again, I think this is going to be easy to do. I think I can finish this by the end of February, no problem, even with working on a couple of other things. So that is my goal for this project as well. I don't know if it's necessarily a good idea for me to be giving myself deadlines, but I'm going to try it and see how I like it. If it doesn't seem like it's working for me, I'll stop doing it. But for now, I think it might motivate me to get things finished. So yeah, that's in this bag. By the way, this bag, which was holding my husband's sock WIP, is from 2AM Designs on Etsy. 2 is spelled out TWOAM Designs on Etsy. She's got nice simple project bags, but for very reasonable prices. I can make my own project bags, so I'm not gonna probably in all likelihood be buying more from her, but I've bought a few from her in the past and I've been happy with them. Just a simple drawstring. So I would recommend that if you need some simple project bags and want to check her out. Okay, my other thing I've worked on this past week, and this was mostly this weekend, because my wrist was still bothering me, and I thought, well, okay, I don't really want to hurt myself, so let me see if crocheting is bothering me or not, if that makes sense. So I started working more on my, let me find it, hold on, Evina cardigan by Heidi Peterson. See if I can't show you the cover page here. It's a very short little pattern. It's cute. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, this is the black and white picture of it, but this is the Evina cardigan by Heidi Peterson. It's a combination of granny squares, and then you pick up and do the ribbing, and then the body and the sleeves. So, well, okay, it's knit bottom up after you join the granny squares together. So I have to knit the sleeves separately and then do work upwards and do the raglan shaping and so on. So bottom up's not my favorite construction. I've done it a few times, but that's okay. It's gonna be worth it because look how cute this is. This is a pattern that I started on a whim because my husband, again, came home and had found me a bunch of yarn at the thrift store, and I was just so excited that I immediately pictured this cardigan, which had already been in my favorites, and was like, yep, I'm starting it. So this is, he brought like 3 or 4 of these huge bags home that he found. It says it's super value yarn, 1 pound bags, and it's made in the USA. It's like machine washable, so it's in lukewarm water, stain resistant, contents unknown textile fibers. Tumble dry, cold air only, long wearing, non-fading, fast color, do not dry clean. So anyway, yeah, this vintage super value yarn, I'm pretty sure it's like almost all acrylic, if not, I don't know, some other fibers perhaps, but this is the color. It's just like a nice kind of pinky gray, and it's got a little bit of tweedy bits in it, not that much, but like little neps of other colors. See, I think it's a lot of like recycled fibers. I was very responsible though, even though I started this on a whim. I did gauge swatch both the knitting and the crocheting. So the called for hook ended up with a square that is too small, but the called for needle, I was on gauge. So I went up a hook size. I'm going to stay on the suggested knitting needle size. And so I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook, which is a US 9. Yeah. And I need to do 18 squares. I'm doing the size large, as of now anyway. And that's how they're looking. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them done. And they all look basically the same. I don't know if you're seeing the little color flecks in there. Let me turn this over. Yeah, you can see some red and some blue. So this project I started December 16th and basically didn't work very much on it. I had a couple squares done, but not that many. So I did accomplish, I don't know, at least probably 5 of these squares, or maybe 4 or 5 of these squares this past weekend. What do I want to say about this? I think if I, by the end of February, can just have all the granny squares made, I would be pleased with that. Yeah. I'm not in a really big rush, but it would be nice to have the granny squares made, maybe joined together, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Okay. So yeah, that's my goal for this one. So I've got 3 goals so far. I think I have one more project that I'm going to try and have direct progress on by the end of February, and then the rest of them I'll have to deal with at another time, because otherwise it's just not going to happen. So yeah, finish the weekend slipover V-neck by Petite Knit, finish my husband's socks, finish the granny squares for the Avena cardigan by the end of February. Okay. Now, this is the last one that I have a goal for February. And this is a WIP that is almost a year old. This is my second oldest WIP, I believe. And this is, oh, still attached to the yarn. This is the Posset cardigan by Kate Davies Designs. Oh, which I love. It's so fun and colorful. And I'm just stuck on Sleeve Island right now, as you can see. I've done the whole body, I've done the neckline, I've done the I-cord bind off all around the neckline and the body. So it's just 2 sleeves, and I'm partially way through the sleeve decreases, maybe halfway. Although, of course, it's going to take a very long time to get all the way down the sleeve in a fingering weight garter stitch pattern. But I can't wait to have this sweater and wear it. So even though this is kind of a slog now with the color changes, that's, I think, partially why it's taking me so long. It's because it's fingering weight and all the color changes. I'm using a US size 4, which is 3.5 millimeter needle. Yeah, it's going to take me a while, but this is kind of a stretch. I would love to get the sleeves done in this cardigan by the end of February, but I don't know. But I'm going to say it. So even if I fail, it's okay. I'm going to try. Sleeves done in this. So therefore all I'll have left is like 18 million ends. I already have the ends of the body woven in, but the sleeve ends will take me a long time. So I don't know if I said this or not. I'm using Drops Flora yarn, and these are the colors that I've got: 31, 24 05 11 29 03 10 17 15 and 18. The called for is the Milwaukee, excuse my pronunciation, tweed, which is a Kate Davies yarn, but this was a much more affordable and accessible option to me. And yeah, I really like it. So, okay. And when did I start it? I don't think I have the exact date that I started it, but it was February or March in 2024. So it's almost a year old at this point, and I would love to get it done and finished. And, you know, again, it wasn't worked on very consistently the whole year at all by any means, or it would have been done a long time ago. But this is another 2 AM Designs project bag, a large one. Okay. Now we're moving on to, I have 3 other WIPs that are lingering, which I do want to finish. I'm not going to frog them, but they're not a priority right for at least the next month. So I guess I'll start with the most shameful one, which is the oldest. This is, they're all shawls, by the way. What does that tell you? Maybe I'm not a big shawl knitter right now, but I used to be, so that's probably why I have it. This is the Happy Place shawl by Nadia Crétin-Lechen, or NCL Knits. Again, black and white photo. I started this on September 30th, 2021. So, wow. Also, I wasn't knitting that much in 2021. So that's probably why. I'm using Madeline Tosh singles, or Tosh Merino Light, which is a single fingering weight yarn, in Brick Dust and Dubrovnik. These were purchased at a different local-ish yarn store in Pennington. And I love these colors. I think I had a gift card, so for my birthday. And then I started this very recently after my birthday. And I love these colors together, as I probably just said. But yeah, I wasn't knitting that much at the time. I was big into cross stitch. I still love cross stitch, but it's just hard to do everything you want to do, you know? But here it is. There's different sections. Hold on, let me get myself situated here. So there's garter, garter stripes, lace. I believe this is half fisherman's rib. And then you just kind of go back and forth, garter, garter stripe, lace, more half fisherman's rib. And right now I think I'm in a lace section. So there was a point where I thought I would frog this because I'm like, well, I don't really need another shawl, and I don't. But I love these colors together so much, and I think it's a really nice pattern. So even though it's been lingering around for like almost 4 years, or 3.5 years, I am going to finish it. I just don't have immediate plans. It's not a priority for this upcoming month, but I will finish it. Yeah, and this is a US 6 needle, or 4 millimeters that I'm using. Another thing is I kind of want to get these needles back, you know? But, and then this is just in a bag that I got from probably Amazon. It was a set of 2. Okay. I have 2 more lingering shawl whips. Sorry for every time I lean down in the camera, it's like my head right there. This is the other from the 2-pack of bags from Amazon. This is the Alina shawl by Babette Ulmer. I started this January 9th of last year. And this is being knit on a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter needle. This is again Madeline Tosh Merino Light. Can I find, do I have a, I'm trying to find a cover page. Maybe I'll just put up pictures. Maybe I'll just do that in editing so you don't have to, yeah, we'll just do that. So what are these colors? Let's see. Antique lace is this one, and this is pecan hole, I think. And this is what it's kind of a Sophie shawl vibes, except it's striped and it's fingering weight, and it has a little cable on one of the I-cord ends, and the other end is just like I-cord. Bless you. That was my son sneezing. So I am at basically, I'm at the halfway mark of this shawl, and I really would like to use this, so I have to finish it. Again, no immediate goals, but I'm going to prioritize it after February, probably, once I complete my other assignments that I set for myself. So this is just over a year old, this WIP as well. And this yarn I got for Christmas 2023 that I had asked for because I wanted to start this project. So, you know, it's not like I don't know what my problem is. Shawls. I'm not a big shawl knitter right now. I just want to knit other stuff, but that's okay. All right. And my last and most recently started shawl is the Nordic Sunrise shawl by, let's see, Margaret, can I read my writing? Stoffaker. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. I started this October 3rd of this past year, 2024. US 4 3.5 millimeter again. And this is all special, expensive yarn that I bought from New Jersey Sheep and Fiber Festival. It's Wool Studios Organic Merino. Let me just hold up the colors and then I'll tell you. Oh, can I do it? Maybe stack them. They're so pretty, I think. In, let's see, it's Eco Merino Light. So fingering weight, I've got Midnight Fairy Dust, Cloud Light, and Rock Garden. I believe that's correct. This could be Midnight Fairy Dust and this one Cloud Light, but I think this is Cloud Light. Yeah, again, from the New Jersey Sheep and Fiber Festival. I also have a crochet hook in here because of the little nups in the pattern. This is a 3.5 millimeter hook that I'm using to do the little, is it noops or nups? I don't know. But then let me show you the actual knitting, shall we? I've got very little done. It's going to be a crescent shaped shawl. Here's the little nups I was talking about. And then I'm in the 2-color brioche section right now, which is lovely and squishy and actually fun to knit. This was my first time doing brioche. So I will get back to this. I still want to complete this shawl too. Just got to get my act together. So again, no immediate goals or plans, but I'm not frogging it. And then, okay, once I finish my stuff that I have set out for myself in February to do, I'll make plans to work on these shawls. I will also start more sweaters because I have sweater plans, as you know if you saw my last video, which was talking about knitting plans and goals for using up my stash. But one other thing, oh, I'll be back. 1 second. I have to lean over. Oh, okay. Is this month I do want to knit, have decided I'm knitting the Uverslua hat by Strickesofa for a baby that's coming in our family, upcoming baby. So the baby shower is the end of February, so I'm going to knit this up before the baby shower. I'm going to be using Yarnsmith's Merino DK. The shade name isn't on here, but it's 3252. This was purchased from Wool Warehouse. It's a superwash merino, so very soft, and easy care for people who, you know, probably aren't like into knitwear like I am, you know. So I have 2 of those. I'm going to knit that hat. Whew. Oh gosh, I just moved you. Sorry. This upcoming month as well. That's it. That's all I've got for you. So I hope you're enjoying your knitting. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you probably in a few weeks to give you more updates about how I'm getting on. Okay, bye.